Everyone hear me? If you all will raise your right hand for me. Do you swear and affirm that the information you're about to give is the truth to the best of your ability? If there's anyone that objects to that, you can keep your hand raised. Everyone else, please lower your hand. Good morning. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case or take your plea today. You're here for the court to inform you of the charges that are pending against you, advise you of certain rights, set bail on those offenses for which this court is authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of attorney. You do have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up that right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your behalf by subpoena, the right to testify or offer evidence in your own defense should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You have the right to have an attorney assist you with your case. If you cannot afford a private attorney, you can use our court-appointed attorney that I'm going to appoint this morning. If you can afford a private attorney and you choose to have an attorney assist you, ask them to file an entry of appearance with the clerk's office so that the court-appointed attorney will no longer be on your case. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bond for your release from jail pending the prosecution of your case. This may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post the cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with any mandatory surcharges to the sheriff's office, who will hold on to those funds until your final court date, at which time the funds will be returned to the person that paid the fee. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay the company up to 15% of your total bond as their fee for their service, so you will not get that money back. And then if you choose to use a property bond, if you have net equity in property in the amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond, the property can be used. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. This special condition will be given to you. You will also be prohibited from calling or having other contact with the victim while you are in jail. Should you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while you await trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing witnesses, or other charges as the law may provide could be brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. For family members who will assist you in posting bond, they'll be provided this information at the conclusion of first appearance. If a family member is a victim on the warrant and there are special conditions that you are to have no contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a Superior Court judge, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond. Your bond can be considered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation. And this is usually done during your preliminary hearing. One of the purposes of your preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify you being detained until your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with misdemeanors only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Waiving your hearing will not affect your right to post bond, your right to have an attorney appointed to assist you with your case, or your right to have a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived, and you will be mailed a notice on when to appear in state court for your arraignment. If you're charged with a felony, you do not have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing today, but that option can be given to you at a later date. We'll give you your court date. And the extradition matter I will handle last. So now we're gonna call you up one by one. I'll do the females first and then the males, okay? And I have Ebony Bradshaw up first.
Brown. Yeah. Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Bradshaw. Hello, Bradshaw. Bradshaw.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
State your name.
Ebony Bradshaw.
All right, Ms. Bradshaw, you're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on September the 5th, that you did commit the offense of simple battery family violence when you was physically, you physically scratched your boyfriend of 1 year, Nichols Bates, on the right side of his face, causing it to bleed in several places. Says you ripped his shirt and scratched his left side of his chest, leaving red marks. Says Ebony was seen on video pulling Nicholas's hair from behind. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Nicholas Bates. Does he reside at the 519 Forest Parkway?
No, that was just the abortion clinic.
I'm sorry?
Get the mask on.
No, that was just the abortion clinic.
All right, you are also you're ordered to stay away from Mr. Bates, and you're also ordered not to violate any laws while on bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Like have $5,000?
Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
What does that mean? What does that mean? This is my first time.
Do you think you'll be able to be released from jail using the 3 options that I gave you: cash bond, going through a bonding company, or property bond?
Do I have to pay $5,000?
If you're paying in cash, it'll be the $5,000 plus surcharges. If you're going through a bonding company, it's a percentage.
Can I go through a bonding company or something?
You'd have to contact them, ma'am. Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it? If you don't know what to do, I'll give you a court date and you can speak with your court-appointed attorney before you make a decision.
If I get a court date, would I be able to leave today?
If you post bond, ma'am.
Yes, please. I don't know.
All right, your court date is going to be set for September the 15th. No, excuse me, September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy.
Come on, man. Put your mask back on. Come on, man. Come on.
Can I ask one more question?
I got you. Come on. I got you. Come on. Who you got next, ma'am?
Felicia Epps.
Last name Epps?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You Epps, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, come on.
I got you, ma'am. I got you.
We'll talk to the judge. Put your mask on.
All right, Miss You're Felicia Epps.
Yes,
You're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
yes,
Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Damian Capri, not to return to 9066 Bob Jackson Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
yeah, my sister is gonna do it for me.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, I'll give you a court date for September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. After you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. And you can return with the deputy.
I could post bond today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my sister got it
Come on.
today.
Okay,
Put your mask back
okay,
on.
thank you. Erica Freeman,
Erica Freeman. Ms. Freeman. Come to the podium, please.
and you're Erica Freeman. Ms. Freeman, you're charged with disorderly conduct. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Take
Your
your
bond is $1,500. You're ordered to stay away from Nikita Harris and not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I can, yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I'll waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Put your mask back on.
Veronica Smith. You said Adrian Nash's lab is in med.
We're ready with her now, Your Honor. You can
Oh,
go.
okay. Okay, so Adrian Nash. All right, Ms. Nash, you're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, ma'am, I'm not entirely clear. Can you explain?
All right, it says that on September the 5th, you did intentionally make physical contact with victim Roosevelt Nash in an insulting or provoking nature. The victim advised that offender Nash went into his bedroom, verbally arguing with him. The victim advised the offender got in his face while he was in bed. The victim advised he left out of the bedroom and went into the kitchen. The victim advised the offender followed him into the kitchen, verbally arguing with him. The victim advised the offender pushed him and he pushed her back. The offender admitted going inside of the victim's room, arguing with him. Victim admitted the following: the offender in the kitchen to continue following the offender in the kitchen to continue arguing with him. The incident occurred in Clayton County. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Roosevelt Nash, not to return to 1714 Ogalla Drive in Clayton County, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I'm not clear on what that means, Your Honor, regarding the proportion that I'll be required to pay.
If you speak with a bonding company, they charge a percentage of the total bond. If you're paying a cash bond, it's the full amount plus surcharges. And then you have the property bond if you have enough equity in the property.
Okay. And what is the procedure as far as timeline to get my
As far as what?
timeline, like how much time will I be given to get my personal property from the resident?
You'd have to make an appointment with the sheriff's office so they can escort you. Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I'm not sure what that means. Can you explain that?
A preliminary hearing, it is a hearing to determine whether there's enough probable cause to proceed to the next phase in your case. If you want, you can speak with your court-appointed attorney before making a decision.
And is there another hearing after the preliminary?
If the case continues, you'll have, then it'll be the arraignment.
I would like to speak with the,
Okay, so I'm gonna schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. After you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You can return with the deputy. Thank you.
regarding the bond, Your Honor, do I need to, I'm sorry, this has been very difficult. Do I need to inform you that I am to notify the bonding company?
No, you would get in contact with a bondsman or a family member that's not an alleged victim in the case may be able to assist with making the arrangements.
Okay. When shall I hear from my court-appointed attorney?
Excuse me?
When will I hear from my court-appointed attorney?
They normally contact you all within 48 to 72 hours. I know that we have the holiday right now, Labor Day, so there may be a slight delay, maybe, I'm not certain, but they will be in contact with you if you're in custody. And then once you leave, as long as your information is accurate, they'll, you all can contact each other. You can call them, they'll contact you if you post bond before they're able to come see you, okay?
I'm sorry, there was an interruption, but I think Officer Jameson can help me with that.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
She was just saying that, thank you.
There
Oh,
was
okay. All right, Veronica Smith, and after Ms. Smith is Andrea Totally. And you're Veronica Smith? Ms. Smith, you're charged with battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, ma'am. Is that the same as?
We can't hear you.
Okay, it says that on September 5th, you did commit the offense of battery when the offender scratched the victim, Michael Patterson, on the left side of the neck, causing a small cut. Says the offender intentionally caused physical harm to the victim after he kicked her vehicle. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Michael Patterson, not to return to 6142 Biscayne Drive in Forest Park, Georgia, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. My family is working on it.
Maybe your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
No, ma'am.
All right, your court date is gonna be set for September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy.
Can I ask that question? 'Cause it's my-
All right, I have Andrea Totally, and then Tierney Veal.
What's the last one? You ready, Your Honor?
And you're Ms. Totally.
Yes.
Speak up,
You're charged with battery. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Cedric McKeechin, not to return to 263 Kimberwick Drive in Hampton, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, I will.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'll waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver and your special conditions. Well, just your waiver. All right, after Ms. Veal is going to be James Bowman. And you're Tyranny Veal. You're charged with battery. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Tyra Jones. And you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
James Bowman.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it? That's gonna be set for September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy. After James Bowman is Derek Brooks. And you're James Bowman.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Patrick Eaton. And you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
You go ahead, ma'am. I'll be out by today, ma'am.
All right, stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. Brooks is going to be Norvell Coleman.
Brooks. Bowman. Yes, sir. Come on. Print your name. Good morning.
And you're Derek Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks, you're charged with criminal trespassing. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $2,500. You're ordered to stay away from Kenny Locust, not to return to 340 Upper Riverdale Road in Jonesboro, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Can I get a lower bond reduction? Can I get cheaper?
No, sir.
I don't know, I just have to figure it out.
Put your hands on the wall.
Waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver. All right. Then I have after Mr. Coleman, Bradley Gaston. And you're Novell Coleman.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, ma'am.
Says that on September the 5th, you committed the offense of simple battery, family violence against Lionel Flowers. While in a verbal dispute, the said offender did grab the victim by both arms, causing visible bruises to the left forearm of the victim. The said offender and victim do reside at the incident location. This did occur in Clayton County. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Lionel Flowers, not to return to 102 Petron Lane in Riverdale, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I'll waive it now.
Stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. Gaston is Cedric Hudson. And you're Bradley Gaston. You're charged with destroying a mailbox or destroying mail, theft by taking, loitering, or prowling, and possession of tools during the commission of a crime. Do you understand what you're charged with?
You said possession of who?
A tool.
Yes, ma'am.
You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered not to return to or go upon the premises of Green Village Apartments at 100 Valley Hill Road in Riverdale, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your preliminary court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy. After Mr. Hudson is Damian Kapari. And you're Cedric Hudson. You're charged with criminal trespassing and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Kevin Davis, not to return to 5903 Dan Drive in Ellenwood, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I waive my preliminary hearing.
You said
I waive my preliminary hearing.
stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. Kupari is Kevin Keeble, and you're Damian Kupari.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with simple battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, ma'am.
Says that on September the 5th, you intentionally made physical contact of an insulting nature with your sister, Felicia Epps, by pushing the victim in the chest with two open hands after being asked, did he accidentally urinate on the bathroom floor? The offender made an open statement that he did push the victim without cause. Both victim and offender reside together at the incident location. This did occur in Clayton County. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Felicia Epps, not to return to 9066 Bob Jackson Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. You have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
You breaking up, Judge? I couldn't hear you.
Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm confused.
I'll set your court date for September the 22nd at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Once you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court, and you can return with the deputy. After Mr. Kelvin is Michael Patterson. And you're Kelvin. Kelvin. Sir, you're charged with driving on a suspended license and criminal damage to property in the second degree. Do you understand what you're charged with? Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your bond is $7,000. And you're ordered to stay away from Kamisha Wheeler, not to return to 1576 Iceworth Circle in Clayton County, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Ma'am.
Your preliminary court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. All right, after Mr. Patterson is Rashad Shaheed. Just give me one moment. Just give me one moment.
You were sure? Okay. Yeah. Why they got hands? Why they go You want to baseball for Jen? Did you wait? Did you wait?
Yeah, she said I can pay my bond. I was like, I can pay my bond.
Did you wait?
All right, are you Mr. Patterson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Patterson, you're charged with criminal trespassing. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yep. That was the charge, but that's not what they told me.
All right, it said that on September the 5th, you did commit the offense of criminal trespassing by kicking the rear passenger door, causing a minor dent to the vehicle, a blue Nissan Sentra owned by Veronica Smith. And this did occur in Clayton County. Your bond is $3,000. You're ordered to stay away from Veronica Smith, not to return to 6142 Biscayne Drive in Forest Park, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, sir.
All right, I'm gonna do Mr. Shaheed last. That's the fugitive matter. So I have Royal Underwood and then Earl Williams. And your Royal Underwood? You're charged with gambling, sir. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $3,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Yes, I'd like to waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver. And your Earl Williams? All right, Mr. Williams, you're charged with driving without a license and window tint violation. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $1,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Right, then my sister, I come down here, I flew in down here to my sister had surgery, and I don't think she could be able to move out the house, so I'm ready to try to get on the phone and try to get somebody to try to do it, because she ain't home with my little niece.
Okay, and do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need to have no matter.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Yes, ma'am, I'll leave it.
All right, stand by to sign your waiver. Stand by to sign your waiver. All right, and then I have Rashad Shaheed. All right, sir. Do you have an attorney representing you in your extradition hearing? Would you like to proceed without one, or do you want us to continue your case till tomorrow so you can have one present?
I'll proceed without.
Well, actually it'll be Tuesday.
I'll
All
proceed.
right, I'm gonna read some I'm gonna read some information to you, and then you let me know how you want to proceed when I'm done, okay? This hearing is being conducted pursuant to OCGA Title 17, Chapter 13. It is said that you are wanted out of Ohio for possession of drugs under warrant number 18CR1144. You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or to waive extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide that you wish to contest extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During this time, a warrant will be prepared under the governor's signature for your extradition to the other state. I am not going to give you a bond at this time, as it is said that you are a fugitive from justice. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the other state, you may file what's called a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things. The first thing is whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second is whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state. The third is whether you are the person named in the request for extradition. And the fourth is whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. You cannot contest the issue of guilt or innocence in this state. You are entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days awaiting your extradition. If the extradition is not completed within 90 days, then you will be released. Do you have any questions about what I just explained to you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. So did you guys contact Ohio and do they want me, or I was told a different thing by the sheriff when I signed my bond.
Okay, so it's my understanding that they do want you held so they can pick you up. That's why we have you on the extradition. That's why you're having extradition hearing now. And so you have to decide if you want to waive and let them come and pick you up, or if you want to contest it by filing a habeas corpus.
And contest, you said if I waive it, I have 30 days to come get me.
They normally come before 30 days, but they'll be notified, I guess, within the next day or so, if not today, that you've waived and they can come and pick you up. And so anytime after that, they would come and get you. If they don't want you, then they will notify the jail so you can be released.
That's if I waive it.
If you waive, that's right. If you're contesting it, you file the writ of habeas corpus.
Yeah, I want to waive it. So if I waive it, they have the option to say, hey, we don't want him or we want him.
Yes, sir. All right, so the jail will give you about 8 copies of the waiver. If you'll make sure you sign all 8 of them and keep the last one for your record, they'll be notified to come pick you up, okay? All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. So what did the sheriff mean by 10 days? They had 10 days to come get me or some sort? Is that when I waive it?
Yes, but they generally will come within that time frame, but that is not a absolute. They don't have to come in 10 days, but they generally come within that time frame.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's the last person that I had. Do you all have any more?
No, ma'am.
All right, you all have a good one. Thank you.